Will Raila run in 2022? That seems to be the question around. And if he will not run, as it appears to be the case, if you go by what's going on in his party, what then is the political scene going to look like? We are talking about Raila not running in 2022, not just because he himself has said he's not talking about 2022 until BBI, but also because his party had set a deadline for applicants interested in running on the ticket to apply. The party deadline came on that 31st March, and on the 1st March, the following day, the party National Election Board announced that indeed Raila's name was on the list. But the following day, the party Secretary General seemed to change everything when he said actually that was a Fool's Day prank. April 1st is normally considered Fool's Day, and people come up with all sorts of jokes and pranks. So Edwin Sifuna, the Secretary General of ODM, said Raila had not applied to be considered as a presidential flag bearer. Now that left everybody now wondering. Now between Sifuna and the National Election Board, who do we believe? Certainly, the National Election Board of the party is an inferior organ to the party in terms of who speaks for the party. The Secretary General of the party, Edwin Sifuna, speaks for the party. So we have no doubt that that is the case coming from him. And therefore now that sets me thinking, who then are we going to look at? Within ODM there is Joho, Ali Hassan Joho, Governor Mombasa, Wycliffe Ambeza Oparanya, Governor Kakamega, both last-term governors and both interested in the presidency through ODM. Will Raila Odinga support them? My thinking is that if Raila is not going to run, then he is unlikely to operate outside the handshake. And therefore, the person Raila is likely to support will be a candidate agreeable not just to him, but a candidate of the handshake, meaning therefore a candidate agreeable to Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't see that being Joho or Oparanya. So then that takes us to the One Kenya Alliance, an alliance of serious Kenyans who have been described using all manner of names and terms, but let's just call them the Sacred or One Kenya Alliance. So are these the people Raila is going to support because Uhuru supports them? We must start by looking at each one of them. I think because Wetangula and Mudavadi come from Western, the former Western province, the Mlembe nation, we will have to rule out Wetangula on account of being junior to Mudavadi. And therefore, it will be Mudavadi in Western. There will be Kalonzo Musyoka. There will be Gideon Moi. Let's start with Musalia Mudavadi. When Raila is not running for election, the name that comes to mind automatically is Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, a man who must do everything possible within and without the book not to succeed Raila. Unfortunately, for many years, Mudavadi has done exactly that. He has gone out of his way not to be Raila's successor. It's not about failing to turn up for the swearing in, leaving people like Joho to shine. It is not about appreciating what Raila did, bringing him back to the fold in the days of LDP after he had bolted from the rainbow, gone to be the shortest serving vice president. Raila brought him back. He was a key player in the No campaign in 2005 referendum. He was the deputy captain in the 2007 election running with Raila. He bolted again in 2013. Raila again brought him back. He was a key player in the 2017 election. But Mudavadi has done everything possible to get out of the succession line. I have always argued and told Mudavadi, do everything you want to do. Say everything you want to say. Say all the bad things you want to say. Direct those bad things against anybody except Raila Odinga. But he has ignored my advice. For that reason, the crown prince is antagonizing the palace. The king still has the power to make the crown prince king, but Mudavadi has defied that. Secondly, Mudavadi has kept company that does not help him at all. Thirdly, Musalia Mudavadi does not seem to appeal to his constituents. The people of Western Kenya generally, the Luo, the Kisii, the Luya, the Kuria, these are people who are very political, and they want a person who can excite them. Mudavadi falls short of that. But mainly for antagonizing Raila Odinga, I find it difficult to see Raila Odinga supporting him, even if Uhuru decides to move towards Mudavadi. And if Uhuru Kenyatta were to prevail upon Raila Odinga to support Mudavadi as a handshake candidate, I can assure you, because of what Mudavadi has consistently done in terms of saying all manner of things against Raila Odinga, I can assure you, if Raila was forced to support Musalia Mudavadi, the Luo community and die-hard supporters of Raila beyond the Luo nation will vote for William Samoei Ruto. This you can take to a good bank. I've said there's no good bank in this country. You can take this to a good bank, that because of Mudavadi's consistency in talking ill of Raila, in fact, as soon as this announcement about the list of applicants came out, Mudavadi jumped on Raila and said all manner of things. Being a man who doesn't keep a promise, betraying, forgetting the bigger betrayal came from Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. He continued hammering at Raila Odinga. And for that reason, if Raila were to be forced to support Mudavadi, the idea is the Luo people and the other supporters of Raila Odinga are unlikely to support him. They will certainly support William Ruto. In default, Gideon Moi. Gideon Moi, I've said many times, is a prince. A prince does not fight for power. A prince is given power. If you feel Gideon Moi in 2022, he will not have what it takes to fight in that election. And therefore, he will be breakfast to William Samoei Ruto. The prince must wait to be given. And therefore, much as he's a favorite, I'm sure, in that alignment, he's a favorite for Uhuru Kenyatta. I want to assure you, my listeners, he will be floored by 7:38 as soon as the polling stations are open. William Ruto will be going to State House. The prince must wait to be given. 2027. Gideon Kipsiele Moi. 2027. Kalonzo Musyoka. This seems to leave Kalonzo Musyoka. And if somebody is listening who knows Kalonzo Musyoka, tell him, if Raila is not running, he's the man most likely to be endorsed. But where is Kalonzo? Can he stand up? Or at least put your hand up, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. You are not there. I'm looking for the Kalonzo Musyoka who was fighting for the ODM Kenya ticket with Raila Odinga. In 2007, before Kalonzo bolted with the ODM Kenya ticket certificate, he looked much more serious, a much more presidential candidate than Raila Odinga. The question is, where did that Kalonzo Musyoka go? Kalonzo Musyoka, the lawyer today, speaks like a non-lawyer. Too much equivocation. He's never clear. You say this, you say this. You don't come out presidential. Yet, in this alliance, you are the one that would have a fighting chance. Although, again, I'm sorry to say this, Ruto could have you for lunch. Now, that opens the gate. Raila is not running. Is he? Or is he? If Raila is not running, and all these shenanigans are going on in the handshake side, let me tell you for a fact, the door is being opened for a Kikuyu candidate. I've said it before. Take it from me. If these things go on, a Kikuyu candidate has a sure win in the next election. Why? Because if a Kikuyu takes the Kikuyu vote, William Ruto is dead. Finished. Without Kikuyu votes, without the GEMA vote, without the mountain, there is no William Samoei Ruto. He's finished. Because over 60% of his support is from Central. If he's not getting that support, he's gone. So these men from the GEMA community will only need to work with Orengo, maybe Winnie, Joho, and a few. Because these people, look at it this way. These people who are strong in ODM will find it very difficult to fit in a team headed by Mudavadi, in a team headed by Kalonzo, in a team headed by Gideon Moi. How will Orengo, Joho, Paranya, how will they fit in that kind of team headed by these people? So they will find the Mount Kenya candidate, if he's a strong man, not these fellows we see around, he must be somebody different. They will find him the most attractive alternative if Raila is not running. But finally, Raila is running. Yes, Raila is running. And that means for the handshake, for Uhuru Kenyatta, you are operating at zero option. You either have Raila running or you open the door for a Kikuyu candidate. And if Raila is running, the chances of him winning are extremely high. And that explains to why Uhuru Kenyatta went to Raila's home for dinner the other day. And the following day, the two were inspecting development projects in Nairobi and Kajiado. It is simple. Uhuru realizes without Raila, the handshake dream is no more, is as dead as a dodo. Without Raila running on the handshake side, and I've said this repeatedly, you are opening the door not for William Ruto, but for a Mount Kenya candidate, unless that's what Uhuru Kenyatta wants.